developing the guitar with Bruno, you know, it kind of started out the same way we start out every other artist's signature project, where it starts with a simple conversation about, you know, what are you thinking? Where are you at? What world do we want to live in with this instrument? You know, it can range from more modern stuff, it can range to more vintage-inspired stuff. And eventually we get into in-person meetings, just trying to make sure we're representing the reality of what his dream is, you know, working within the wheelhouse that we have. So when it came to an aesthetic perspective for the instrument, you know, him stylistically, I think both musically and, you know, aesthetically for, you know, his personal style, it's a very classic look, right? Especially with like the Silk Sonic thing that he's got going right now, right? So it was a very vintage inspired look that he wanted to go for. The instrument kind of plays in this realm of late 60s, early 70s. You know, it rides this line kind of right in between, and depending on how you want to outfit it, you know, you can lean more into that 60s aesthetic, or you can lean more into that 70s aesthetic. But overall, it was just, he wanted something that looked classic, that felt classic when you saw it on the wall, when you pick it up in your hands. There's a little bit of a choose your own adventure when it comes to the look of the guitar. It includes an extra mint green pickguard in the case. It comes with a 3-ply black pickguard for that more 70s look. That's the look that Bruno wanted to go with out the gate. But he also wanted to include this extra mint green pickguard, so, you know, depending on who you are and, you know, which vibe you're feeling, you can choose your own adventure, and you can lean that 60s route with that mint green guard with this custom color, these aged white pickups. Or you can keep it 70s style, you can keep it with that 3-ply black guard. You've got the big headstock, right? You've got that large Strat headstock, late 60s style. So this guitar really allows you to play in whichever decade you're feeling at the moment. One of the biggest challenges we had in developing this guitar was the finish, and it was inspired by a vintage guitar that was in his studio at one point, and it was this beautiful red metallic finish that had aged over the last 50 years, and all the red had faded out of it. And so in this particular guitar, what remained was this beautiful, complex, kind of rich, almost like a root beer, golden brown color. So not only does this guitar come with this super unique custom finish, it also is going to be the first time that our USA production line will feature an aged lacquer finish. So when you see this guitar in person, you're gonna see all this checking. You're gonna see a few dings here and there, this really light aging process. But it's something that we're super excited. We're calling this the heirloom finish.
So the color of this guitar, I think it's killer. I really like it, and it comes with this strap here, which is so cool. I love it. I think it's a great combination. I know you have the option to put like the 2 pick guards, so the white one really looks cool too.
So when it came time to deciding what he wanted on the guitar, Bruno was kind of a couple minds, right? He kind of lives in two worlds. He lives in this modern pop world, right? But then he's got this very classic aesthetic. And so it kind of became this great marriage in the actual instrument itself, because when you look at it, you might think at first glance that it's a vintage guitar, right? But once you get it in your hands, once you play it, once you hear it, you'd realize that, oh, this is kind of a sleeper. It's got these modern features. It's a pretty slick playing guitar. And that was something that he brought to the table as well, is he wanted this thing to look like it had been, in your dad's closet for the last 50 years, but then you pick it up and it plays like something that, is brand new and slick and mean. So one of the more modern features on the guitar is the neck. When you first pick it up, you feel that C shape. You might think vintage, but it's got medium jumbo stainless steel frets, and it's also got a compound radius 9.5 inch to 12 inch radius with contours at the neck heel and on the body. Those are the same ultra contours on our USA production line series. It also features a 2-point tremolo, right? Again, for a little more modern, smoother experience with the tremolo. From a pickup perspective, you kind of get it's like a microcosm of the whole guitar. You get a little bit of both worlds. You get a vintage voicing and you get a modern voicing. So what he wanted to do was, for the neck and middle pickups, get that classic Strat sound, right? Especially in that position 4 in-between sound, that kind of quacky, spanky, bubbly, just a very classic Strat sound. For the bridge, he wanted something a little meaner, something with a little more bite than a vintage pickup might get you in that position. So that's actually a stacked single coil voiced to sound like a mini humbucker. So it gives you a little more growl, a little more bite, lets you dig in a little more, especially with some gain on it.
Yeah, so I play most of the time with fuzz pedals, and the sound killer with the fuzz. I really like the dynamics on this guitar. I'm all about dynamics, so the range of dynamics that I can approach with the with how I pick or how I strum the guitar, how I set my volume too. So I really like the dynamics on this guitar, and the tone was really good too.
So you look at the headstock, for example, you've got this big Strat headstock. Bruno was very inspired by this late 60s vibe, but the guitar also kind of rides the line between the decades, right? But the combination there, big headstock, when you flip the guitar around, you see, oh, locking tuners, right? So again, this marriage of aesthetic with modern functionality and convenience, that really makes this guitar one of a kind and very interesting. Overall, working on this project with Bruno was great. He absolutely had a vision for what he wanted the guitar to be, and he was very particular with the details, and I'm very glad he was, because the result was this really incredible, unique instrument. And it has something to offer for players of all genres. All the sounds are in there if you take the time to dig them out.
Yeah, I feel really honored to be here because I heard that Bruno Mars chose me personally between a bunch of guitar players, so I really appreciate it. And I really dig his music too. I think he's amazing, so being here, it means a lot, so thank you. Thanks for having me.
We really hope you guys enjoy this guitar. If I missed anything, all the details are out on Fender.com, and appreciate you guys checking it out. Thanks.